watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community. And I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
Together we are Roleplay. Again, family, welcome to another episode of Monday Night Raw, the worst show in the world. There's no way to save this. But before we start that, we just want to express our sadness, condolences, to the family of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. There were reports in the past weeks that he was not doing good, really bad, and when it comes to dementia, in the latest stage of dementia. There was, remember that video that he really looked bad, and then it seemed that he was actually getting better. We felt really good for him. We thought that he was going to be able to pull off, but unfortunately yesterday he passed away, Paul. So, a great legend. The first in the first WrestleMania, the main event, going against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T alongside Roddy Piper. So it's really sad that one of the great ones is gone.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, definitely one of the best, workers, best everything of his generation, and one of the greatest heels. Like you said, all his, the business he did with Hulk Hogan, everybody wanted to see him and Hogan. And why? Because he was such a good heel. And not only that, you hear from the wrestlers, everybody, they said he had such a, maybe besides Vader, when, he beat up Vader in flip-flops and everything. But, they said that he was such a good guy, such a great sense of humor, just, real cool and everything. So, we didn't just lose a good wrestler, lost a good human being. So, like you said, condolences to him and to his family.
Yeah. So, we feel really sad, but, at least we can live with the memories because, like you said, he was a great guy. And then also, we live with the memory of, the great fight that he had with Vader. And he won. So that's fine. So now
the Heenan family gains one more member,
Exactly. And now I think they're probably fighting in Kevin. Yeah. So that's fine, family. But, going back to the show, is a terrible way to close the Thunderdome. Your champion gets defeated on free TV. That's absolutely terrible. Roman Reigns doesn't lose on free TV. Kenny Omega doesn't lose on free TV. So, but Bobby Lashley, lose to Xavier Woods. Yes, you heard it right. Yeah, he lost to Xavier Woods. That's terrible, but thank you so very much for being with us one more time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following us in all the social media. Don't forget, now we are also on Twitch. So, all the gaming, all the live streams, all the videos are going to be there pretty soon. So, gotta start following so we can actually, keep uploading all this great content. But the show, Paul, started out with Bobby Lashley against Xavier Woods, like we mentioned. We thought, there's no way in hell that, he can lose to Xavier Woods. But, this show was actually taped. This was, the last show in the Thunderdome. So, they felt like, we can put a piece, 3 hours of garbage, and it's fine because nobody's going to notice. So, in the match, the Xavier started with some offense, but then Bobby, just gained control of the match, dominating like usual. But then you get to see, Kofi Kingston getting involved, kind of playing with the head of Bobby Lashley. But, you're the champion. You're supposed to deal with it. You're supposed to handle this in a better way. But no, like you said, the most effective move in the WWE as of late is just the roll-up, and Xavier Woods gets the win. So Bobby Lashley, and then he leaves the ring. This was just terrible, and this completely killed the whole show for me because this guy is supposed to be pretending and portray as just great guy that he will never lose. So dominant, so powerful, and losing to Xavier Woods, that completely killed his character for me.
Yeah, and we did see something in the main event, did kind of redeem it, but no, not really, because like you said, he's the champion. We see losing all the time, or, whether he gets pinned, he got pinned by Kofi a few weeks ago, obviously with the help of Drew, but he still got pinned by Kofi. His team lost last week in the main event. He gets pinned here in a small package, and it wasn't like it was quick and the ref was right in position, 1, 2, 3, boom. The ref literally got on the ground. He pointed at the shoulders yep, okay, the shoulders are flat. 1, 2. It was the slowest 3 count, and I'm like, Lashley's not going to kick. I'm like, he can't be serious. He's going to get pinned by this. He does. And this is, like you said, it set the tone for the whole show. It started off at 0 and it somehow went lower.
Everybody, everybody in the waves, everybody on social media, oh my God, this is terrible. It's how can you just, this guy actually is as good as Roman Reigns. He's as dominant as Roman Reigns. He's as powerful as Roman Reigns. Why would you lose to Xavier Woods? So this is just terrible. And actually, you make Xavier Woods look strong. So now, are you preparing him for a singles push? Is that what you're doing? A lot of people are saying that Big E might be the one winning the briefcase, like you said, Paul. So and then they're going to go at SummerSlam, because there's no Brock Lesnar or anything like that. This is just terrible. So moving on, Paul. Oh, this is even worse. We go from like terrible to like unwatchable. Alexa Bliss, and she has like special guests in the playground is Eva Marie and Doudrop. So like Alexa Bliss is just trying to talk to like pretty much Doudrop. Like she doesn't give a damn about Eva Marie. Like, oh, you're legit. I think that you can be a really cool friend of mine. You should join me. All of that, and then Eva Marie just says, hey, yeah, like you suck, girl. Like you're kind of like twisted here. Like you play with a doll. The doll is not even there anymore. The doll actually put it out on WWE Shop. He already like went off like stock, like everybody wanted it, and it's like, you know what? Nah, you suck. It's like, I'm just gonna leave. The evolution is just has to continue. So Doudrop kind of talked to her a little bit, but this is it. Yeah, those segments are still killers for the show. Paul.
The only like decent like nugget in this turd of a segment was exactly was when she asked Piper Niven like, oh, how would you explain your your time here on Raw in one word, and then Eva Marie interrupted her, and you could see the look on Niven's face. She was pissed. You got to split these two up. Push Piper Niven. She looks strong so far, but as long as she's with Eva Marie, she's just going to be a joke. But, I mean, she looks super dominant, and she would be one, whoever wins, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, I'd love to see that matchup for the Raw Women's Championship.
I would love to see that. You know that we're big fans here because we do cover NXT UK, so, like, we want to see Piper Niven at least going for the championship. Is she going to win it? No. She didn't do it over there. She's not going to do it bad here. So, Doudrop, no, we're not going to mention that. It's Piper Niven. They need to do something better with her. Like you said, she has a lot more in stock to offer than just this stupid character. And if that's the only reason she's going to be on TV, I don't want to see her then. But let's move on to like Jinder Mahal, and these new two stooges that he has, and like he's actually came out on a motorcycle. Look at Jinder, go from like being like the modern day Maharaja to motorcycle guy, and he's just talking about Drew, how they stole the sword, and the sword that Vince McMahon gave him, and Drew shows up on the big screen and all of that, and they're talking, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Drew, like I just oh my gosh, no, the sword is like broken, so." But this is absolutely terrible. It's not even fun. It's not even comedy. Then Drew just destroyed the motorcycle also to get even with Jinder. So I think they're gonna have a match. It seems that way.
Yeah, this is obviously leading for a feud, and not to go conspiracy theory, but there is there's a toy of Drew McIntyre that comes with a red motorcycle that's been sitting on the shelves. Nobody's buying it, so now all of a sudden, Jinder is here with Drew and a red motorcycle. Maybe this is trying to promote the sales of that toy that nobody wants to buy. Who knows? But regardless, I was excited for this feud because there's the history. But they're not even touching on the history. He's not cutting a promo like, oh, what about, what about Heath Slater? Like, you promised him a championship match and it was bullshit. And, he got fired because you didn't stick up for him. You never stuck up for me. This could be Jinder talking. I had to do all this stuff. I got my opportunity. You're just jealous. I was WWE champ before you. No, nothing like that. It's just, oh, I stole your sword with, Ranky and Cher or whatever the hell their name, Cher. Do you believe in good segments after this? No, I don't, Cher. So, this is bad. The match could be good, but they already did it. They already did the match, and it was a DQ, and it was whatever. You should have built this up for something. Not saying this would have been a WrestleMania type feud, but at least try to make it feel special.
In the middle, so you have something to do with Drew because like everybody's just tired of him, going against the WWE title. So we'll see what happens, but this is just absolutely terrible. There's no redeeming powers in this. There's nothing like you said. There's no chicken nuggets that can actually be. You know what? It wasn't that bad. Let's go with like a fatal four-way that it had like some of the girls involved in the Money in the Bank match, and that was Asuka, Naomi, also Nikki, Ash, and also Alexa Bliss. So this match, again, it was just like, why? Well, we do this actually to push the Eva Marie and Doudrop storyline a little more because they were actually fighting, but then she came out, with like both of them came out in the ring to just like see what's going on, but not even in the match. So that to me is like, why are they there? Like, there's nothing like to do there. And, like Doudrop, it was just like saying hi to Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss comes out. She starts yelling at Eva Marie. And, then Doudrop actually carried her, put it in her shoulders, and then she threw it. They were looking for her. There, Alexa's nowhere to be found. And, that was just like not good. And I don't know what you feel about this, Paul, but like these feuds actually, like they don't even want to make you watch Money in the Bank anymore. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's upsetting because, like you have a lot of talent here, but you don't never use them correctly. So in the end, Nikki Ash gets the win. just because like they're portraying her a little better. But is she gonna win the match? I don't think so. But she gets the win out of like the other three girls. Asuka completely jobbed out one more time. Naomi, what else can you say about Naomi? She got to shut down Twitter just because of all the backlash that she's getting. And remember, this will be like the card for Money in the Bank for the girls, and Natalia was added just because it's Natalia. So no reason given. And then there's only one more girl that we're waiting for, SmackDown, that will be added to the match.
And to comment on that, it needs to be Zelina Vega. You need to feature her in a role like this if you're going to sign her, and at least she cut a good promo 2 weeks ago. You got to put her in this match, have her look good. Maybe not win it, but, at least have a decent showing. But, yeah, I mean, this match sucked. What else is there to say? There's Nikki Cross wins. Okay, cool. Like you said, are you going to push her? No. If anybody should have got pinned, it should have been Naomi, just to be like, okay. That's for Jimmy Uso, a slap on the wrist. Like, okay, don't pin Asuka. Asuka's probably one of the most legit women you have in this entire roster, and done.
She's even going to win the match. She's like, I'm going to win it one, for 2 years in a row, and I'm going to be champion one more time. No, they're not going to do that. And Naomi's not even in the match. Or is she in the match? She is. The match. Okay, I don't even know if she's in the match.
But like you said too, seeing these four women, and we saw it with Ricochet and John Morrison, especially with the match we saw tonight with them. What are you just going to do all these same spots in Money in the Bank? I don't care.
Why you give it away? Why do you give it away? That's the main thing. Is like a great match. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I feel just bad for these girls. AJ Styles and Omos, they're going to go against the Viking Raiders. Both the guys, Eric and Ivar, they're just going to take on singles competition. Kind of promo right there. Oh, we're going to win. We're better. And AJ was actually happy that he's putting people over. But some fan in Twitter said, it's like, don't you feel that like they're really ruining your character? He's like, no, it's legit. He's like, hey, I've been WWE champion twice. When they needed me to be legit, they portray me legit, so it's fine. So I'm going to put over guys. It's all good.
As much as I love AJ, I hope he's just being political, because if he's really complacent, that kills me, because this guy could still be your top star despite his size. But no, as soon as they booked these two matches, I saw, okay, Ivar, who's the Viking Raider, who Vince or whoever likes more, they're like, oh, he's fat, that's funny, fat people are funny in Vince's mind. So it's like, like Otis, let's make him a ladies' man, and he's the one with the charisma. That's why we saw Eric was chasing the 24/7 title. You'll never see Ivar chasing it, believe me, and that's not just because he's fat. But as soon as they had Ivar with AJ, I'm like, well, AJ's going to lose, because you're not going to have almost lose in a singles match.
No.
So I didn't care about this at all, especially just the way, he did the big, flop, kind of sat down on him, boom, pinned him. I mean, this sucked. Yep, and then go right into the next thing.
Oh yeah, then it was Ivar, and then Ivar wins, and then Eric was against Omos, but Omos, in a pretty cool and quick fashion, really cool, choke slam, big one, really slamming, and 1, 2, 3, and Omos gets the win. So they're one in one piece, for the match. They're gonna have a Money in the Bank, and it's gonna be for the tag titles. Are they gonna change, the championship the titles are gonna change hands? I don't think so. I really don't. I just feel that AJ and Omos are get a little stronger. And if the Viking Raiders win, there's no division anyway. So who are they going to go against? Nobody. The RK Bros is still a thing, but I don't know if it is. So, and the Viking Raiders winning the championships, I don't know if I get behind that, because there's no teams.
So. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really could care less who would win this. You can, if you really want to. Even though he's been portrayed as a joke, you can really push AJ and Omos, where Omos is, instead of his tag partner, his muscle, his bodyguard, he could go against Bobby Lashley. He could go after Sheamus, even though we kind of see where that feud and the U.S. title picture is going, but he could go into that. You could do so much with AJ, but instead they're like, tag division, which I think they're doing that just so he can work with Omos, because there's no better worker, or at least AJ is one of the best they have right now.
Making him learn a little more, get better craft, make sure that his arsenal, his craft is a little better, so improve as a wrestler. So you mentioned Sheamus, so we're going to talk about Sheamus. He finally has a new mask. He's ready to defend the United States Championship. So I'm ready, fella. So it's good. He's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. He says you have a match against Humberto Carrillo, and he's like, okay, we'll see about that. And then he beats him up backstage. It really takes care of him and all of that. And then we got to see Adam Pearce in the bill coming out, and then Humberto's like, oh, the match is off. You don't need to fight. He already beat you up. No, I'll do it. I'm legit. It's all good. And then we got to see Damian Priest. Actually, he's like, oh, are you good? So we got to see a stare down between the two. So you knew where the match is gonna go. So unfortunately, for Humberto Carrillo, one more time, he's just an afterthought. Unfortunately, bro kick 1, 2, 3 and done.
I mean, and this is really before we talk about the aftermath, this is really how it needed to go. I do like the promo by Sheamus when he's like, I beat the shit out of this guy. Whatever, he injured me, I injured him, whatever, the line was. It was just, he's like, why do I need to face this guy again? I beat him already. This is bullshit. And then Sonya Deville and them were like, yeah, so you have to face him again. And it's like, they suck as authority figures. They need to really they're like the boss, but the boss has no control. It's just the crew who runs things, not the boss.
Give like a better reason, It's like
exactly. But I mean, this was, and it needed to go that way, where he just beats the shit out of Humberto, ends the match real quick. Then starts beating him up after the match and everything. We see Damian Priest comes out to make the save because that's what we wanted to see. I've been saying that since after WrestleMania. You knew Bad Bunny wasn't going to stick around, especially with concerts and everything opening back up. He was going to go on tour, and he's not a wrestler. He's a musician. He's obviously not going to stick around. Said the best thing, Damian Priest, make him U.S. champ. And, it took him a couple months, but now I think they're finally at that point. So, this is really what I hope they do. And I think for Humberto, if you can't do anything with him on Monday Night Raw, send him to NXT. I'm sure NXT can get at least better use out of him.
Yeah, no, that would be a cool addition because, give him like something to do with these guys. We got to see the Lucha House Party with like the New Day just talking about, oh yeah, you guys are legit. Oh yeah, cool thing that you did like with like Bobby Lashley and all of that. So I mean, do something with like Humberto. He deserves a little better. I mean, he's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but he's not even.
And at least Lucha House Party has merch, and I like the Lindsay's Kane mask. That looks.
Oh yeah, cool. No, like at least it's like, is it bad that you have to actually like try to like do other things for them to feature you on TV? Like you have to have Kane, you have to do something old school for people. Oh, okay, you're somebody. Because on your own, if you will have like your own design, nobody will be featured. So that sucks. And like you said, like the progression for the United States Championship, it only bothers me a little bit that Damian Priest is the only Hispanic person that is portrayed decent in this show. Garza is nowhere to be found. He's still, I guess, trying to get Nia Jax. So that's why we don't see him. And now Humberto, the Lucha House Party is also like the joke house party. So
I'm sure he had no choice, but Garza's biggest mistake was going up to the main roster.
Oh yeah, he's probably he regrets that every single day. I mean, maybe the pay is good, but that's the only thing that he will be good out of that. So like we got to see Ricochet and RK Bro, Matt Riddle. So they just started talking about that, talking about the Money in the Bank and everything. Like he mentioned, is just about Randy. He's like, I'm going to win the Money in the Bank, so me and Randy. He's like, I'm going to be legit, so me and Randy, and then we can challenge for the tag titles. And Ricochet goes, you actually can do that? And he's like, well, Otis was going to do it. But, they took it away from Taki. So, they got to, Riddle, like you said, the best guy in this show right now is Matt Riddle. This guy is just, at least, he's funny enough, and he knows how to deliver the lines, and everything that they do with the guy is at least you see a little bit of effort in this guy, in the character development and all of that. So I love this. And then you said John Morrison was out. They started to, feud with Ricochet one more time. And they gave us actually one of the best matches of the week, of the night, and probably I don't know, but the best match out of the two was yesterday. It was great. It was great. Everything we wanted.
I mean, this was really good, but we know both these guys are good. They both have similar styles: the athletic, high flying, parkour style, whatever you want to call it. These guys are fantastic. But why isn't one of them the mid card champ? Why isn't this a feud for something legit? This is a Money in the Bank. Like a feud inside the Money in the Bank match, and the problem is none of these two guys are going to win it.
No. That's the problem. That's what they did.
The guy who's going to win is the fucking, meat slapping, pancake throwing Big E, who hasn't been in a legit feud since his singles run. I'm sorry, the feud with Apollo was not good.
Oh yeah,
it was not good because they didn't. Apollo's a way better wrestler than Big E. Big E's not bad, but they just didn't have the chemistry. Those matches just weren't that good. And
they never took off. Yes,
and this match was fantastic. The spot through the table, all the stuff they were doing was not the table. Excuse me, the ladder was real. It was real dangerous, especially to do it before Money in the Bank. What if they both got hurt? So we have to sub somebody for Money in the Bank. Don't do this before the big show.
Don't be AEW, No,
but I mean this. But regardless, all the everything else aside, if you're looking at it just through like a tube, just with this alone, just this match, it was good.
Oh yeah, and the spots with Riddle, he helping out. I don't know if I like this because Riddle again he gets involved in something else. But I mean, they don't have anything for. I guess Randy Orton, he requested time off, or maybe he's gonna come back at Money in the Bank. But this was at least you saw that like somebody was helping out Ricochet, which is fine, and he won. So that like at Money in the Bank, he, like you said, he's gonna have a good performance, but that's what it's gonna be, because in the end, somebody else is gonna win the briefcase.
Now, if you were really pushing Ricochet, and like you really wanted to tell that story, remember where he was kind of feuding with Lashley for a little bit and all that stuff? You could really tell that story, but he's not a Daniel Bryan. Ricochet is like a complete afterthought, like a mid-card guy at best, just the way he's portrayed. But, if you really told the story legit, he'd be perfect to win that Money in the Bank, and cash it in, maybe at like a SummerSlam or something. Have a big moment for him where the people will pop because, they love Ricochet, but nah.
And there's gonna be crowd some, that's what they should do, but of course they're not gonna do that. So moving on, we're gonna go with the tag titles, like in the female division, and we have Natalya with Tamina, and then they're still like taunting, they're still feuding with Mandy and also Dana. So they're gonna have the match at some point. So they just went words, and then in the end, Tamina ended up pushing Dana also, and then we got to see Natalya. She's gonna have a match with Rhea Ripley. And it's just, always a good match. Always decent, always average, and that's fine. But in the end, we got to see who. Of course, we get to see, like, the sharpshooter. Is she going to get away from that? Yes. And then Riptide, 1, 2, 3, and done. And Charlotte came out. Charlotte was also, like, just pushing the feud, also hyping it up, And what do you think about this, Paul?
The match, the segment with Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and all them, it's hard to say because it's like I thought Natalya and Tamina were the baby faces and the blondes were the heels, but then the blondes were with Rhea Ripley and but is Rhea a heel? I really don't know who's the heel, who's the baby face in all of this. I feel like Rhea is like half heel, Charlotte's full heel. Like none of this really makes any sense. To me, Natty and Tamina are baby faces still, but I don't know. That's why it's hard to get into these matches and it's hard to care about them. Because you don't know who you should be cheering for and who you should be booing. I mean, when she got in the sharpshooter, I was like, okay, legit. But like you said, of course, she like flips her. She hits her head on the turnbuckle, riptide and done. And Rhea's like, oh, my legs are fine. It's legit. Charlotte does one chop block, puts her in the figure 4, and Rhea is screaming like she just been cut in half. So I'm like,
oh, yeah.
So the figure 4 is legit, but the sharpshooter is bullshit. So. If she would have been limping and my legs are done, I can barely stand, and then Charlotte hit the chop block and then did the figure 4. Oh, okay. It showed that she was already done, and then she got that, and then she was really done. But instead, she's like, no, I'm legit. 2 moves. I don't know. That's bullshit.
Now, hopefully, like the title changes hands because, like you said, if they wanted to give the title to Charlotte one more time, just do it. That is this time. But I'm thinking Becky Lynch might be coming back at Money in the Bank. I think that like the main reason is Becky Lynch is going to be back at Money in the Bank. We'll see if they, like you said, if they goes to Raw, she goes to Smackdown. But at least they need somebody knowing that Bayley's out for like 9 months. So it's going to be a long time. Drew cut one of those promos that are completely, there's no sense in this. He just talks about whatever he wants to talk about. And like Drew, actually, the past weeks he's been a little like I don't want to say out of touch, but like the stuff that he's been given is confusing. And like there's not really a reason for him to go to the WWE title anymore. So I don't know, but like the Drew that we've seen lately is a little like I don't want to say boring or anything, but it's just like you'll see that like he needs to be freshened up. They need to do something with the guy because he's like losing a little bit of like the momentum that he had.
Yeah, I mean Drew would have been the perfect guy to put in the tag division, but you kind of already did that with Randy and Riddle, and then you put AJ in there. How many top singles guys are you going to put in the tag division? At this point, you really can't do it anymore. So Drew is he's not really in any division. He's just like floating around, and like you said, these promos, he's trying to be like funny. Like when he talked about, oh yeah, William Wallace, oh yeah, Braveheart, he was legit, all this shit, and it's like, what does this even have to do with anything?
Exactly.
Like you said, he should be cutting a promo just on gender. Like, like I said, we were friends. We were legit. Remember when we had to do all the bullshit and the leather pants and we looked like fools and, now we're fighting over swords and, bikes. No, this is stupid. This is bullshit. Get to the real meat of the matter. But it's like you said, these writers just give him garbage and Drew tries to do his best like most of these people do. But man, you can only do so much.
Exactly.
This is Braveheart.
Braveheart, yes, exactly. Braveheart, and let's go to the main event, and it kind of sucks that like the main event is actually a segment. I don't know why, but like they should have at least a match. I don't know, 3 hours is that hard to like do, and this is a lie because you see, it says HD live. It wasn't live. It was just tape. Okay, and we want to make sure that like they did tape this because why? They need to actually get ready for the new sets that they're gonna have. Supposedly, so it's gonna blow us away. Hopefully, that's what it does because
to set this up too, like after Lashley lost the match, he like left the arena and they asked MVP and he's like, oh yeah, he left, but it's legit, he'll be back, and then he talked to all the women. He's like, all right, if Lashley wants, some champagne, you get it for him. He wants a back rub, you give it to him. If he wants a front rub, you give it to him. And they're like, so they were all ready. And then as soon as you saw Lashley come out all disheveled, it looked like his suit was all wrinkled and it looked like he's like homeless. He's like, so I'm like, what even is this? Yeah, I'm like, why he should come out and be pissed. Which okay, he did get there eventually. He did get pissed because he pretty much MVP was like, oh yeah, let's party, let's be legit. And then Lashley looks at the women. He's like, I got to talk to MVP alone. He's like, ladies, get out of here. And then he pretty much said like after the match, he's doing some thinking. Kofi's right. He's like, you are, making me soft. You're getting in my head because all you worry about is like this kind of bullshit. And I'm like, don't split from MVP. Yeah. Him splitting from MVP is pretty much saying his title reign is soon done.
It's over. It's
done. And he's going to go back to the mid card with, here are my 3 sisters that all look like men or whatever the hell,
and Sami Zayn is going to be feuding.
Do you want to feud again? But no, this is great. He pretty much told him, he's like, MVP, we need to get back to business. The only thing we don't care about these women. We don't care about, the suit, all this. I didn't say the suits, but he's like, we don't care about all this flashy shit. We just care about hurting people. And he destroyed the set. I mean, picking up that's not like a work sofa. That's not like made of air and it's not like a blown up sofa. That's a real sofa. So he threw that thing, pretty much destroyed the whole set. And, then he showed this intensity. He was pissed. He pretty much said to Kofi, he's going to, I love when he said, he's like, Xavier Woods beat me. He's like, Xavier Woods. He's like, I should have destroyed that little loser. And it's like, yeah, you should have.
Everybody saw that.
Yeah, like you should have destroyed him. But he pretty much said, that Kofi, he's just a clown and he's going to send him back to the circus. And he's like, oh, wait, the circus is dead. And so will you be. But I do love the line. I forget what it was exactly. It said to MVP when he's like, I'm sick of this bullshit. I think he actually said bullshit or I'm sick of this shit. Shit was said, literally. So, I mean, that was good because it showed that intensity. That's when a swear comes in, that it shows the intensity.
It is believable.
Not like on AEW when Sami Zayn is like, you son of a bitch. And I'm like, okay.
I agree with that. So, agree. At least, this redeemed the situation that happened at the beginning of the show? Hell no.
The only way, and I know they won't, because they love Kofi, and I don't hate Kofi. We get some feedback here on Rope Break. People are like, why do you guys hate the New Day? We hate them for the same reason we hated Roman Reigns as a babyface. For the same reason we started to get sour on Drew a little bit. It's because they're in every main event, every segment, all the time, and we don't care. Yes. That's what did we just say about John Morrison and Prince Puma? Are they featured? Are they legit? No, but these other guys are.
Main event. Exactly. They're going to have a match like that. Yep. So,
but with this, I mean, the only way to answer your question, does it redeem it? The only way to do that is if he beats Kofi in 5 minutes. He needs to just completely annihilate Kofi.
Yes, and and finally
it can't be like, here comes the boom drop and the SOS and all his other bullshit.
And then Trouble in Paradise and then he kicks out. No, Lashley needs to retain and in a really dominant fashion. Hopefully that's what happens. But we'll see. And family, we want to just ask you would you want us to keep doing Monday Night Raw since there's all these situations so we want to see if you guys want us to be covering other shows also. We want to present that question to every single one of you.
Yeah, because I'm going to be on the Ring of Honor Best in the World tournament and everything they have going on right now. I've seen some of the results. People are saying that's pretty good. So that's what I mean. Would you rather see us talk about Ring of Honor or, really awful wrestling? Raw?
Yeah, exactly. Or MLW, there's more alternatives. There's also NWA. So Billy Corgan is trying to do a good job with Nick Aldis and all of that. So just family, let us know. Touch the button, said yes, say no. So family. That's what we got for you guys. This is the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to see one more time, subscribe to the channel, the bell for notifications, and also follow us where.
and that is Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, the Original Rope Break on Twitch, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
Family, don't forget, today we have soccer in a little bit also, and we close the night with NXT, Karrion Kross against also Johnny Gargano. Is the title going to change hands? The only way to find out is by watching Rope Break. You and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...